I'm tired of feeling like I'm stuck. I'm tired of feeling like there's no option for me. That's my breakfast. 2 slices of toast, a serving of the whipped cream cheese, some eggs with some spinach, some fat-free cheese up there, and some regular sausage. Hey fam, so it is now 3 hours after I had breakfast. I was upstairs working on a little intro action for you guys. Hopefully you see my intro, or you already saw my intro. Fingers crossed. We have a lot of catching up to do though, like a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run upstairs, do a quick home workout, which will be a whole separate video, and then I will sit down and talk to you guys, I guess. Alright, see you there. Bye. 10. Finally. I always feel good when I get my workout done way before the day is over. And almost all my Fitbit goals are met. For those of you that are wondering, my step goal is only 6,000. That's because I work a desk job and don't have time to do 10,000 steps a day. Oh. Right, Mr. Boxes? Shower time. Hey fam. So, I'm all showered and clean. And Brian and I are about to go get some food. But first I kind of wanted to sit down and talk. Obviously, it's been a while for those of you who have been watching my channel. Actually, I don't even know if I was engaged when I made my last video. I'm pretty sure I was. But Brian and I have gotten married since, and we also got a new house, which I will do a house tour in another video. And we also are pregnant. I am 6 months pregnant. Tomorrow I'm 24 weeks. Right? Let me double check that. Yes, tomorrow I'm 24 weeks. But it's been a bit of a roller coaster for me. When I first found out I was pregnant, I was 8 weeks pregnant and was 7 weeks in like a handful of days. But basically 8 weeks pregnant. And initially, you know, the first thought that went through my head was, you know, I'm not going to change anything. My doctor told me I was still good to weight lift. You know, and that I was still good to count my macros and eat the way I was eating. Obviously no alcohol, obviously, you know, the stuff that they tell you you're not supposed to eat when you're pregnant for obvious reasons, like fish and whatever, and lunch meats. So I was good to go. And the only stipulation at that time was that I just needed to get out of a deficit because I was trying to cut. So instead, she just suggested that I go to maintenance calories, and that's what I did. During the time I was doing Yami's 8-week challenge, that was my second time doing it, which it was an absolutely amazing challenge, which initially, that's kind of why I stopped filming, was because I didn't really see it being fair to film somebody else's workouts and to film, somebody else's plan, I guess. She was providing me my macros and giving me my workouts, and I didn't really think that that was a good thing to do because she'd worked so hard on it and it's hers. And so that kind of discouraged me from filming because I guess I didn't really think that I had content. So that's initially why I stopped. And then, like I said, I found out I was pregnant during her second challenge, and I just kind of fell off the boat, so to speak. First, I was still very good about tracking and working out and whatnot, but being pregnant, my body got really, really tired, and I was just physically exhausted all the time. And it got to a point where, I didn't have a ton of morning sickness, but there was 1 week where I did have it really bad, and I didn't track my macros that week because there was really no point. Anything I was putting in my body, I ended up throwing back up. Not to be gross, but that's what happened. And so I felt really, really bad about that, and because my check-in sheets with Yami were bare. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working out. I wake up in the morning, go to work, come home, and go straight to sleep. And that was all I had the energy to do at the time. And so I felt really bad because, like I said before, she put all of this work into creating these plans and calculating her macros and checking in with us every week. And she was so amazing at it. I just felt horrible that I felt like I was wasting her time. So once the challenge ended, I started to kind of just do my own thing because that's around the same time I started to get my energy back, and I started weightlifting again when I could, because the doctor told me as long as it was something that I have been doing, to just keep doing what I've been doing. And so with that being said, while I was weightlifting, on top of the added weight I was putting on because of my pregnancy, I was starting to get a lot of back pains, and it was lower back it was the sciatic nerve, and it would shoot down through my butt down to the bottom of my leg, and it sometimes was tolerable and other times wasn't at all. So I went to the doctor and let her know that I was having these pains, and she informed me that it was normal. Because I'm pregnant, my pelvis is moving and a lot of things in my body are moving, and it was just something that added pressure to my nerve. So at that time, I started to work out a little bit more again, or not a little bit more, but I started to work out the way I was before I fell pregnant. And it was great. It felt so good to be back on track. It felt so good to be eating the way I was supposed to be eating. I was still having really bad back pains though. And so I went back to the doctor, and she told me that I needed to stop the heavy weightlifting, which really, really put me into a bit of a depression. Because I felt hopeless. I felt like a walking baby maker. And it affected my eating as well, because I kind of just told myself, well, what's the point of eating healthy if I'm not working out? And so for weeks I ate like garbage, and I started to get sick again. I was really, really sick for a few days, and then once I got over the sickness, I was throwing up a lot, and it wasn't sick throwing up, it was my body was telling me that what I was eating was shit. And what I was doing was shit and the way I was treating myself was shit. And because it was nonstop, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd hit a drive-thru for breakfast. I would go to the cafeteria for lunch and eat like chips and candy and soda. And then I would come home and either we would eat, I would come home with like takeout, or I would just eat whatever I found in the cabinet. And there was no rhyme or reason to it. There was no like, oh, well, I'm eating this because it's got carbs, this because it's got fat, this because it's got protein. I was just eating. And, once I was in the second trimester and was finding myself still throwing up is kind of when I decided that I needed to change. And so I did a ton of research on what I can do, because my doctor never told me that I couldn't stop working out. She told me I had to stop heavy weightlifting. And, when I heard that, my mind just went to, oh, that's it. What else are you going to do? You don't like doing anything else. Why would you do anything else? And there's nothing wrong with me still using weights as long as they're light. And I'm not straining myself. It's just the 200 pounds of squatting and deadlifting and whatnot that I needed to stop doing. So once I decided to get back on track, I did the research and found almost no pregnancy content. And for a little bit, I kind of did this like, oh, that's okay. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to, just make sure that I'm just moving my body. But the more that I tried to find, the less I found. And the more that depressed me. So, I'm already hormonal. And on top of that, it's this roller coaster of depression and motivation, and then depression and motivation, because there's so many things out there telling you what you can't do. And there were no options for me as far as, here are the workouts that are good for you. Here are the workouts you can do. Here are alternatives to, the things that I was already doing. And that's what I needed some kind of support. And there was none. On top of that, that was around the time that I announced that I was pregnant. And I got a lot of people who thought they were doctors. A lot of people who told me, you need to stop working out. You can't eat this. You can't eat that. You can't do this. You can't do that. I had somebody tell me that I can't raise my arms above my head because it wraps the umbilical cord around the baby's neck. And, if I need to reach past this point, that I need to have my husband do it. Meaning, like any cups I had that I needed to grab, or like anything. It was just a bunch of people who were commenting on things I can't do anymore. Or a lot of people which everybody's trying to help. And I understand that everybody's trying to help, and everybody has a different pregnancy and is told different things. And there are so many, people were excited about it. But for me, that was very discouraging. And it got to a point where I was back to waking up, barely waking up in time to make it to work, and then just coming home and going straight to bed. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of feeling like just because my body is creating a child that I can't do things. I'm tired of people telling me, you can't raise your arms above your head, or telling me that there's a certain kind of shoe that I can't wear, or that, all of these, just all of these myths about pregnancy. And I decided that instead of me whining, and instead of me coming home crying and being sad and depressed about not being able to do this stuff, that I just needed to get off my ass and start working out again and start being intuitive with what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this is. I want to create content for pregnant women that isn't, you can't do this, you can't eat this, you can't have that. And instead provide information as I learn it. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell people what they can and can't do. I, however, can provide people with information that I'm learning along the way and information that I am getting from my doctor, and hopefully be able to provide some kind of support for someone else who's out there who's become limited because of their pregnancy and who can find different ways to do different things. Hopefully, that's some kind of motivation for some of you out there who might be struggling with this. And I'm not just going to do pregnancy talks. It's not just going to be, oh, this is, all the great stretches for labor, and this is all this, and this is all that, but it's going to be a mixture of both. It's going to be a mixture of the lifestyle that I had before on top of what I'm changing due to my pregnancy. And then how I recover from my pregnancy afterwards and getting back on track after, 9 months of not being able to count macros and 9 months of not being able to lift heavy. So it's going to be more of a journey, and I decided that I'm going to make a series, and I'm calling it Grounded. And that's because I feel like with all of this, before I was pregnant, I was on cloud 9. I was very like, yeah, weightlifting, yeah, this, yeah, that. And going through the roller coaster of depression and anxiety and excitement and happiness and then back down again, I am trying to find a middle ground. Get it? Grounded. So, with that being said, some of my New Year's resolutions. I don't like New Year's resolutions because I think that you should constantly be bettering yourself, not just, oh, it's a new year, quick, everybody get their shit together. I think that you should constantly be reevaluating your life. But with everybody else around me making New Year's resolutions, I did start thinking about where I am and where I want to be and what I want to do and things that I want to get done. And one of those is finish my personal training certification. I have until March to finish it, and I know I can do it. I'm cranking it out. I've already cranked a good chunk out of it. I was lollygagging for a while, and I bought my program about 2 weeks before I found out I was pregnant. So again, with everything that was going on with me, that was one of the things I just put on the back burner. So I'm doing that. Along with that, I'm YouTubing more because, for a few reasons. Like I said, I want to provide information for women out there who are struggling through their pregnancy, and things that I find helpful. I want to put out into the world. I also want to do it for me. I also want to do it so that I can look back and see where I am and see where I'm at and see, if I do get pregnant again, that I went through all of this before, and that, this is what helped me in the past. Some resolutions that I created for myself internally was drinking more water, which I have been doing a ton of, and I've been knocking that out of the park. Getting workouts in. And not just, I'm not really feeling it today. I'm pregnant. I can do what I want. But going, okay, am I actually not feeling it today, or am I just being lazy? Do I actually not feel good, or am I just deciding I don't want to because I don't have the motivation? So that's something that I'm really trying to work through. And with that, as far as my workouts go, I don't have splits or set workout that I do every single time, except for walking on the treadmill is something that I'm really trying to do because I want to build my endurance. And that's something that my doctor highly recommended for me, was that endurance was going to help a lot during labor. So I'm really trying to walk on the treadmill as much as I can. I'm not pushing myself like I did before. I'm not forcing myself to push past an extra set or to just walk that extra mile. I'm just listening to what my body is telling me. So on Saturday, I walked for half an hour. My husband walked in the room and I went, you know what, I don't think I should be doing this anymore. Turned it off. Now it was fine. Today, jumped on for 30 minutes and went, oh my God, 30 minutes already passed. I'm going longer, and just kept going. Then I got to about an hour and I said, okay, maybe this is too much. But I'm trying to counteract any exercise that I do with food that I'm eating. And with that being said, as far as the food aspect, I'm not tracking my macros. I'm eating intuitively. So if I wake up in the morning and I feel like 2 pieces of toast and a smoothie, yeah, that's a lot of carbs, but the smoothie has a ton of micronutrients in it, and I'm trying not to get too far deep, I should say, into this is how many carbs I'm having, this is how much protein I'm having, this is how much fat I'm having. I'm just trying to listen to my body and listen to, you know, what I'm craving. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling like I'm stuck. I'm tired of feeling like there's no option for me. Like I'm just supposed to be this couch potato that stuffs her face all day long just because people say that's what pregnancy is supposed to be like. And I'm tired of listening to it. I'm tired of having people tell me, oh, you shouldn't be working out because you're pregnant. I had a friend tell me that over the weekend, and I got upset because everybody thinks they're my doctor. And it's very frustrating. Anyways, I digress. So that is it. That is my plan. That is what, the vlogging, back to vlogging is about. That's kind of where my motivation came from. And I want you guys to help me stick to it. I want you to, if you see that I haven't posted in a week, get on me. Because that is my goal, is to post at least one video every week at least. Hopefully I can fit more in there, but I already have, with this video, 2 videos recorded. Next video is kind of the workout that I did today. It's mini, it's small, it's not anything huge, but it's something. So, that's it. That's it. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. And I just hope that my information can get around to you guys. So, like my video. Comment if there are things you want to see, questions you have, concerns you have. Just comment or just say hi. And then subscribe if you want to see more content, because I will be putting out more content, I promise. That is it. I love you guys so much. I do. I really do. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.